1, 2, 3, come on!
Come on, come on.
Hello everyone and welcome to my vlog. This time, the baby girls ni Pepe will discuss to us about the analysis through form of poetry. What is poetry according to their point of view? On the other hand, they will discuss also about the content of poetry and forms of fiction. So please check this out.
Hey there! So today I'm going to tackle about my personal opinion about poetry. Yeah. So to get right into it, parang from my personal standpoint, poetry is, as it's known for, it's a way to express oneself, diba? So like, ako, nagsusulat ako. Like, I write poems. Like, I even have a book filled with them. But that's like for my own entertainment na. Because like, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy writing. I enjoy writing poetry. So poetry in a way, parang it makes me feel very light. Kasi parang doon ko nailalabas yung nararamdaman ko when I can't like express it to anyone else. I guess you can say that it gives me comfort as well. I mean, yes, poetry can be expressed in many ways. Like parang it can be written, like spoken, or even performed. And from what I can say, that is like no matter how the poetry is executed, it always comes off strong. I don't know if that makes sense, pero yes. The impact kasi ng poetry is strong, it's powerful. I think poetry is very powerful. Like, lalo na yung the use of words and the way it's usually executed, the way it's usually carried out, it just has a great impact on me. Like, since it is based on my personal opinion, poetry in general, it has a very great impact on me all the time. Because, like I said, I find it very powerful. Poetry holds so much, like, power because, words have a lot of power in them. It's the way, like, Jose Rizal died. It's the reason why he died. Through the use of that. Kaya nga siya tinawag siyang hero, diba? National hero. So, basically, yun lang naman yung part ko about my personal opinion on poetry.
Hi everyone, and today I'm going to talk about poetry on my own definition. For me, poetry is a creative art without using any tools like brushes, watercolors, crayons, and paint. But it uses only paper and pen associated by the creative mind and aesthetic heart. Poetry for me is an attachment of expressing your feelings and conducting it to an idea to cumulate your feelings into words by arranging it using a creative way of writing, like rhythm and figurative languages to enhance the beauty of every verses of the piece. So yeah, that's all, and thank you for watching. Enjoy.
Hey guys, I'm Patricia Quiroz, and today I'll be answering the first question: define poetry in your own understanding. But first, let us define poetry according to Howard Nimoro, a poet and novelist. Poetry. It is a literature that evokes a concentrated imaginative awareness of experience or a specific emotional response through language, chosen and arranged for its meaning, sound, and rhythm. For me naman, in my own understanding, poetry is like a song, written and spoken verbally, expressing our feelings, ideas, opinions, experiences, and more. It's like telling the story of your life, or even somebody's life, while using various figures of speech, tone, imagery, symbolism, allegory, syntax, rhythm, so on and so forth, in a selected structure of a poem. Poetry brings out the creativeness of a person, using wide imagination that tells who they are or how we can relate to them. In love, in life, in happiness, in sadness, in traveling, in seeing the nature, about God, about motivation, inspiration, and so much more. We can relate or even write a poem about it, to let out our feelings or share it with others. There's so much we can share through a poem. That's all. See you again.
So, what was your biggest challenge in writing a poem? So, for me, the biggest challenge would be thinking of the right words to say to show the readers on how I really felt in the past. Because when it comes to me, in my mind and in my heart, basically it is easily for me to express. But when it comes to any kind of form of expressing, like expressing to your friends or expressing to a poem, it is hard because there will be flashbacks and memories, and when I think of flashbacks and memories, it slowly started to make me feel down, that it stops me from expressing myself. But when that happens, I tell myself that everything happens for a reason, and that having a bad experience or experiencing something bad is normal in life.
Hello, my name is Francesca Medina, and today I'm going to present what are the challenges when it comes to writing a poem. Well, my biggest challenges is rhyming, because sometimes it takes me time to find the right word that rhymes in the end every time I make a poem. And also the one also the big problem is how I'm getting the attention of my reader, like if they understand it or not, because also the rhyming is part of the poem, of the feeling of it. So those are my biggest challenge yet. So that's only my biggest challenge. So okay, bye.
Teka! Ahabol lang ako!
So now I'm gonna talk about the poetry or poem and why is it difficult for them to write. So poetry is difficult to interpret because it consists of the serious compression of information in very few words. prose usually says what it means, whereas there is no single interpretation when it comes to poetry. So poems can also be very engaging and entertaining because of the pleasure you get from decoding them. And now I'm gonna give 4 examples of the hardest poem to write. So the first one is double abecedarian, the second one is double dactyl, the third one is rhyming suffix, and the fourth one velanil. So yes.
Hi guys, so this poem is titled The Eclipse. She was as bright as the sun and her heart was her weakness. He was as peculiar as the moon, his other side very mysterious. She waited for him all her life, while he tried to catch a glimpse from day till night. After forever they finally meet, the sun and moon embraced, like a puzzle they're complete. She was the sun, he was the moon. She let her light come shining through, and at night, he did the same for her too. This poem I wrote for our last activity uses different literary devices that we need to make poems, such as figures of speech. It has a theme, it has different settings, it has different symbolisms. So I hope you guys understood a lot from our vlog today or tonight. And remember that poem is an art and it deserves more recognition in this world. And I hope you guys are having a great time, when you read poems, because, they are great and they give us a lot more knowledge and a huge, bigger picture of different things about the world. So yeah, that's it guys. Bye!
It was at this moment that he knew. He up.
Hi guys, I will be talking about the importance of tone as a content of poetry. So the tone of poetry, the tone can be serious, formal, objective, dramatic, humorous, or even regretful. Basically, it can be anything because it will be your poem and your decisions towards on how you want the tone to be. So, the importance of the tone in poetry is that it shows the poet's expression and attitude not only through words in the poem but the way on how the poet recites it as well. So, the poem's tone or the writer's attitude towards his audience helps create a particular kind of atmosphere or mood in the poem as well.
Hey mga kasi-writers! I am Patricia Quiroz once again, and in this vlog, sasabihin ko sa inyo ang importance ng tone of voice. But first, let's look into the meaning of tone. The definition of tone of voice according to Merriam-Webster is actually the way a person is speaking to someone. In the essence, it's how you sound when you say words out loud. It was Albert Mehrabian who came up with this rule determining that successful communication is made up into 3 parts. And those are, first, the words you use, your tone of voice, and your body language. Let's say you're talking to someone, to your friends, to your family, audiences, customers, or anyone. And they cannot see your body language in just their computers or mobile devices. And it's fair to say that our tone of voice is the major contributor of the content. Lahat naman tayo, we have our own way of expressing ourselves. Now, our tone of voice will help them identify our personality, and it can even persuade potential customers. Now, the tone of your voice gives you the opportunity to advertise or to show the best of yourself. Makaka-create sila ng image of a person or a company. Now, this can influence their decision and persuade them into doing a business with you because the information was easily absorbed by the tone of your voice. Sabi nga nila, it's not about what you say, but rather it's the way you say it and how you will bring an impact to your audience who reads or hears you. For example lang ha, when we're talking to our partner, just by the way they speak or yung tone nila, malalaman natin yung feelings nila. Or even in an argument, when we give the wrong tone of voice, we can be easily misunderstood. For example, I will give out a sentence and you will see the different tones that I've used. Kunyari, papatayin kita. O, diba? Happy siya pumatay. O kaya naman, papatayin kita. Yun naman guys, galit na galit, gusto manakit. O kaya naman, papatayin kita. Gigil ka girl. O pwede ding, papatayin kita. Ang tone naman yun is sad or crying. So, sa mga examples na yon, we can see that the tone of our voice can demonstrate our feelings or attributes that we want to display. Yun lang po mga kasi-writers. Ako nga ulit po si Patricia Quiroz and see you again!
Hi guys, welcome back to our vlog, and this time I will be talking about the importance of symbolism in creative writing. So first of all, what is symbolism? Symbols, or basically symbolism, is used to use different words, different phrases to actually convey a meaning of something else. Just like what I've said in our report before, an author used the word dreamland for Disney. So instead of putting Disney in the poem itself or in the story itself, she said dreamland instead. So the importance of symbols or symbolism in creative writing is that it creates a bigger picture, or allows the readers to have this imagination, a better imagination of the different scenes and different settings and stuff, because a dreamland to an author might be a different dreamland to you. So it allows people to really be creative in terms of reading and stuff, because although it is important to know the true message of the author, it is also a great thing if we actually make up or imagine or see something through the use of symbols that the author does not convey. So although that symbols are often used by different authors and such, they use it for creative writing, poems, stories, and stuff like that. And although some of them could be really deep, it is very natural for your brain to actually picture out something in these words. So which is why they are so important in creative writing. I hope you guys understood what symbols are for and why are they so important in creative writing. We hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.
Hi there! So today I'm going to discuss about the importance of motif. So, ang motif kasi, yun yung nagde-dive in siya with the prose and poetry, with yung mga clear and repetitive images, tsaka ideas, pati na rin ang symbols all throughout. So, in their repetition, motifs emphasize what is most important about a story. Kasi, ayun nga, motifs allow yung mga authors, writers, directors to create a more poetic and structured narrative. Yes. Parang kinakluin siya sa readers tsaka audience na about the symbol para magkaroon pa sila ng mas malaking idea. And syempre, yung motif, partner yan ng themes. Here's an example of a motive. So, it's called a tuxedo. Throughout yung poem na to, parang may isang lalaki na laging sumusuot ng tuxedo for a lot of occasions, variety of occasions, parang yung wedding niya, yung funeral ng tatay niya, and even his own daughter's wedding. So, yung tuxedo, that becomes like a symbol of his like changing duties, like as a husband, as a son, and as like a father as he ages, parang ganon. So, reflecting dun sa example ko, motifs by definition are, like what I said, they are repetitive throughout a narrative. So, it's like, para siyang, basically, yung importance niya is to emphasize larger themes and ideas. Yun lang. Thank you.
Like TV from other dimensions has a somewhat looser feel to it.
Yeah, it's got an almost improvisational tone.
For today, I'm going to talk about the importance of theme in a poetry. So, theme is a central topic, subject, or message within a narrative. Theme can be divided into two categories. A work's thematic concept is what readers think the work is about, and its thematic statement being what the work says about the subject. So that is the theme.
Don't let your kids watch it.
So hi everyone, and today I'm going to talk about theme. Theme is important. Without it, a poetry is meaningless. It will contain only the events and the characters. Theme is an essential ingredient of a poetry because this is general message of the poem. It is a part of the reason why the author wrote the poem. Author is writing a poetry because he wants to share a message with the readers, and also it is important for us to know as reader what this poetry are we reading is all about. If it is about love, war, poverty, and many more. And most of the time, an author has already a theme because writing a poem that makes him or her to write smoothly. So that's all, and thank you.
Hi guys, we are the girls group from 12 Rizal B, and this is our vlog number 6. Today in this vlog, me and my group mates will be discussing about the importance of elements of fiction, techniques, and literacy devices. So again, hi guys, me and Patricia will be talking about the elements of fiction. So for me, number 1 is character. Character are the people who or animals that make things happen in a fiction. So there are two types of character when it comes to a fiction. It is flat character and a rounded character. So a flat character is a character drawn with only surface facts and details, while a rounded character is a fully developed character as opposed to a flat character. So next is plot. Plot is the sequence of interrelated actions or events that make up a story. So the plot contains one, which is exposition. This is where the start of the story or the introduction of the problem. So next is rising action. This is where the tension or uncertainty developing out of the conflict increases. Then climax, the point of highest emotional intensity. Then falling action, the action which follows the climax. Then lastly is resolution. This is where the solving of the problem is conflict. Conflict can be very healthy. It increases awareness of problems that exist and provides a reason for finding a better way forward. So when a conflict is valued, it mostly encourages an environment where change is seen as a positive way. And it is also a way of making things better in life.
Hey mga kasi-writers! Once again, I am Patricia Quiroz, and today I will talk about the importance of elements of fiction. To continue the report of Eliza, there are 4 more remaining elements of fiction, and those are setting, point of view, tone, and mood. Let us first define what a setting is. Now, a setting is the time and place where a scene occurs. It can help set the mood, influence the way characters behave, affect the dialogue, foreshadow events, invoke an emotional response, reflect the society in which the characters live, and sometimes even plays a part in the story. According to Carol Benedict, it is important to establish a setting in your story so that your readers or audiences can visualize it or experience it. Of course, if your audience don't know when or where the action is unfolding, mawawala sila. Asa yun na yun as a writer to answer the questions of who, what, where, when, why, and how you want them to visualize and imagine what you want them to experience. Now let's define the point of view. The point of view refers to who is telling or narrating a story. A story can be told in 3 different ways: first person, second person, and third person. Writers use point of view to express the personal emotions of their characters or themselves, according to yourdictionary.com. Point of view is important because it will help the reader understand the character's feelings and actions, creating a similar idea with them. Each character will have his or her different opinions and personalities. So whoever is telling the story will impact the reader's opinions about the character and events. And we will be coming to the third one, which is tone and mood. Tone is the attitude of a writer toward a subject or an audience conveyed through word choice and the style of the writing, while mood is the overall feeling or atmosphere of a text often created by the author's use of imagery and word choice, according to pbslearningmedia.org. These 2 literary elements help create the main idea of the story. It will help us find message and passage, making us more understand and connected to the story. As we can see, all these elements of fiction help contribute to make a better fictional story, making the audience and readers visualize, relate, and experience what we want them to experience. That would be all in my part. Thank you guys!
And now I'm gonna talk about the importance of allusion. Allusion are an important part of understanding literature because they give us a deeper understanding of an author's message. So an author can skillfully draw upon allusion to give a story, poem, play, or other literary form more meaning, or to provide clues about an author's message. And an example of allusion is when an author references something external to his or her work in a passing manner. Just like, for example, an author may reference a musical artist or song, a great thinker, or a philosopher, the author or title of the different text, or a major historical event. So, yes, that's it for the allusion. So now I'm gonna talk about 3 subtopics of figurative language. The first one is simile, the second one is metaphor, and the third one is alliteration. And to start with, what is figurative language? So it refers to the use of words in a way that deviates from the conventional order and meaning in order to convey a complicated meaning, colorful writing, clarity, or evocative comparison. And now let's talk about the first one, which is simile. So simile is a figure of speech that directly compares 2 things, highlighting the similarities between 2 things using words such as like, as, or than. So yes. So the second one, which is metaphor. So metaphor is also a figure of speech that is used to make comparison between 2 things that aren't alike but do have something in common. And for example, spending too much time with him is worse than swimming in a sea of sharks. So the third one is alliteration. So alliteration is a term to describe a literary device in which a series of words begin with the same consonant sound. For example, She shells seashells by the seashores. So that made some tongue twister. So it's kind of like that.
Okay, so to continue what Josiah was saying, up next is the personification. As it is already self-explanatory, personification basically nagbibigay siya ng human traits tsaka qualities, such as yung mga emotions, sensations, gestures, tsaka yung pagsasalita, yung speech. So, basically, nagbibigay siya ng personal qualities, especially sa mga like nagre-represent ng thing, or a person, or yung human form, basta human form ng isang tao. Yung mga example nito is like, the sun smiled at us, or the leaves waved in the wind. And then, the next one is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is basically a word that actually looks like the sound it makes. Yung example nun is like slam, or splash. Next, is basically a hyperbole. A hyperbole uses like extreme exaggeration, parang OA, para to make a point or parang ipakitang emphasis sa isang bagay or isang word. Basically, it's an overstatement. So, ang example ng hyperbole is basically like, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. And lastly is the idiom. An idiom is basically a phrase or an expression na nagmi-mean na like, it can't be understood from like ordinary na meanings niya. So, parang for example is like, get off my back. Pero yung idiom meaning niya is basically, stop bothering me. Moving on to the last one, which is dialogue. Pag naririnig mo yung dialogue, the first thing that comes to your head is basically like, between two people, diba? It's between two or more people na in a conversation between characters sa isang like novel or drama man or etc. That's it for my part. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Maria Francesca L. Medina, and today I'm going to talk about imagery and irony in my point of view. In my point of view of imagery is literally describes an object or action and ideas in a way that is so believable, so true, and we visibly it is. It's like seeing is believing. And for irony for me is it's like it's being sarcastic. It's mean you say something positive even from someone. You say something positive from someone even though they did the exact opposite, like a bad thing. Example is example is that I told a waiter good job even though he dropped all the food, and that is an example of irony. And that is it. Bye.
Hi guys, welcome back to our vlog and welcome to Marina's Parking. So ayun, we're gonna be talking about foreshadowing and sensory devices and such, and what are their purpose and importance. First of all, what is foreshadowing? Foreshadowing is like where authors or scenes in movies already show hints of what's going to happen in the end, such as kunwari, they're gonna show like this person being suspicious and turns out he's the killer. Foreshadowing is an act that could be done by the author themselves or a character of the story, or even from places or the settings of the movie or the written work. The importance of foreshadowing in stories, in writing, and as well as movies is because it gives more depth in characters and it gives more depth to the story because it makes your viewers or readers more curious about what the story is. Meanwhile, sensory devices are also really important. These are things or words that could like trigger to have something to do with your senses, such as when an author says it smelled like spring, so it gives this like sense to you, or it makes you use your sense of thinking and feeling what the spring smell like. So the importance of sensory devices is like it adds like that little flavor to your work, and really this gives a lot of like accent to what you are writing, what you're seeing, and like in this general foreshadowing and sensory devices are essential to one's work. That is because it gives an extra meaning and it gives extra experience to your work. That's all.
So hi everyone, and today I'm going to tell you what we've learned. So we learned about fiction, about its elements, techniques, and devices. We discussed the fiction has 7 major elements, which are the first, characters, which talks about who is the person perform an action, maybe a flat around character. Second, plot, the major events, So third was the point of view, how the story is told, who tells it, maybe from a first person or third person point of view. Fourth, setting, the place and time. So fifth, conflict, which is the struggle between the two opposing forces. It has 2 types, maybe external or internal conflict. Then sixth, it's the theme. It is the main idea, a statement of a topic. And lastly, the tone and mood, the attitude and atmosphere of the story. These elements are needed to complete a meaningful story. All those elements are depending on the author thoughts and background about the context. Fiction techniques and devices. Under the technique, there are three: the allusion, figurative language, and dialogue. And devices are imagery, irony, foreshadowing, and sensory details. The writer uses these techniques in his or her writing for the purpose of creating a more interesting, meaningful, authentic, and entertaining mystery. So that's all for today, and thank you guys.
There you go mga ka-GV-kers! You have heard the different point of views of the baby girls ni Rizal. This time, if you want to share your thoughts and opinions, please comment down below. And don't forget also to ring the notification bell in order for you to be updated to my videos. And don't forget also to subscribe, as I usually mention, subscribe now, laugh, and learn later. Once again, ito po ang inyong gurong vlogger ng Kuwait, saying God bless you all and always keep safe. Bye!